This is Bomb Hoops Podcast.
What is up, guys? This is Bomb Hoops Podcast hosted by Jem and Jello. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also click the notification bell as well to help us reach 1,000 subscribers and help you to get updated on our latest releases. So yun, tol, we're back with another episode of Legacy, and this time we're gonna talk about the player that revolutionized the style of the NBA off the court and also on the court, and that is the answer, Allen Iverson. So first up, let's see on his awards and accolades in the NBA. Yung pinaka-notable is actually yung kanyang 4-time scoring champs na yun nga, 30 points per game and won na 27 points per game. Tapos aside from that, he was an MVP in 2001, also a steals leader once in 2002, and he was a multiple time All-NBA player rin. Unfortunately, ito nga si AI, hindi siya nakapag-champion and he was not part of the teams that won gold medals in the international play, but still a pretty much accomplished player. So, particularly during his time with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Ayan. So, actually, Allen Iverson, sa mga kabataan ngayon, hindi na nila naabutan to eh. And sayang kasi kung nakita lang sana nila maglaro tong si Allen Iverson, sobrang entertaining eh. Na imagine yung ginagawa ni Kyrie Irving, ni Steph Curry, pero siya lang yung gumagawa. Ganun yung feeling eh. Maraming mga magagaling na guards back then. Like sila Kobe. Ganun. Pero like Steve Nash. Pero iba pa rin talaga yung swag na meron si Allen Iverson eh. And I think he's the only, or rather he's the NBA player talaga who maximized street ball as his arsenal and actually gained success in the NBA.
Because we had players like Steve Francis or player like Latrell Sprewell, Stephon Marbury that tried to bring their game from the streets into the NBA, pero hindi to nag-translate into the success, even near to the success that AI brought to the game. Especially during yung prime years ni AI na yung nga nag-scoring champ siya, and even Kobe admitted to hating playing against AI, na he always prepared extra when it came to AI because AI was that good. Even though alam naman natin yung highly controversial and infamous moment na nag-interview si AI na nag-rant siya about practice for a good 2 minutes. So imagine na lang if AI practice, diba? If he had the same commitment level as LeBron James or Kobe, maybe AI might have won a championship.
And guys, actually itong si AI, 6-footer lang to. 6 flat, tama ba? So
yeah, 6 flat.
Playing he is actually playing the shooting guard position. So he is playing against
6'6 or 6'5
players, mga 6'4 pataas normally ang nasa shooting guard position nung time niya.
And he was an elite defender at 6 foot flat.
Mataas yung steals niya. And imagine that being that small, well, sa standards ng NBA maliit yun. And still being able to dominate and score an average 30 points per game in multiple occasions in a season and win an MVP. So, I think si Allen Iverson na ata ang pinakamaliit na MVP. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, he is. He's actually the smallest ever to win an MVP.
So, ayun, wala na makakakuha sa kanya nun. And he's in the history books for that. So, let's move on naman, bro, sa mga notable stuff. And bakit ba siya naging memorable sa mga sa mga hoop junkies like us?
Well, yung una is yung crossover niya kay MJ nung rookie season niya. It was highly expected na yun na yung last season ni MJ, and the NBA was looking for the next MJ. There were flashes with Kobe, pero during that time talaga, the clear next MJ was actually AI, the number 1 overall pick na nag-average agad ng 20 points per game. and was bringing moves to the NBA that was unheard of. Particularly yung yung unorthodox na crossover niya. That was if you're a basketball savant na alam mo yung traditional crossover that stayed between the knees. Yung kay AI kasi lumalabas siya dun sa stance mo na hindi yon common nung time nila. Hindi siya yung traditional crossover. So sobrang nakakagulat na na-crossover niya si MJ nun.
Tsaka yung crossover ni AI, kahit i-compare mo ngayon though perhaps similar to Kyrie Irving talaga yung pumapasok sa isip ko Like, part yung parang binibigay niya yung buong katawan niya pag nagko-crossover siya. Not just yung hands niya, not just nililipat niya lang, hindi. Parang pati yung head and shoulder movements niya kasama dun sa crossover niya. And it's attributed nga sa freestyle basketball ng streetball sa NBA. And suki nga nun si Allen Iverson kasi the time na naglaro siya sa NBA, dun nasabi ng mga fans ay hindi pa tayo nakakita ng ganitong player. Kasi kahit si Kobe or si LeBron, hindi mo rin pwedeng masabi sa kanila yung ganun Kaya si Kobe, nakakita na tayo ng Jordan. Si LeBron naman, parang
we had Magic
we had Magic, Charles Barkley, and si AI, siya yung pumasok ng player na hindi mo alam kanino siya i-compare.
Walang comparison. I think yung closest comparison would be the late Pistol Pete Maravich Pero we had even though alam naman natin na Pistol Pete is an all-time great, pero during the time na naglalaro si AI, and even today, a lot of the fans don't know Pistol Pete. And admittedly, kahit naman tayo, wala tayong masyadong idea with how he played. Pero, yun nga, yung track record speaks for itself na pareha sila.
Na medyo nasa shorter end. Pero scorer talaga And AI was never known to be a knockdown 3-point shooter, a dead-eye 3-point shooter. Pero, kasi expected na yun sa mga smaller people in the NBA. Kailangan mo ng shooting to compensate dun
your
sa
lack of size.
Your lack of size or your lack of height. Si AI, dumadrive to Tapos talagang china-challenge niya yung defense. Rare nga makakita ng mga wide open shots sa kanya kasi siya mismo yung nagke-create ng sarili niyang mga tira.
And in a era of basketball that was dominated by isolation play, for him to average 30 points per game is a huge feat. Because it's hard to score inside the paint time and time again at 6 foot flat. Tapos, your body is like that na hindi ka naman bulk or rip katulad ni AI. So, it was a huge accomplishment talaga na sabi nga nila, if only AI was a bit taller, he might have been the greatest player of all time.
And actually, another notable memory that I have of Allen Iverson was the 2001 Finals Game 1 performance. If you can remember, this was the Game 1 against the heavily favored LA Lakers nung time na yun. And actually, yung Lakers nung time na yun, wala silang talo the whole playoffs coming into that game. So, ayun, and ayun, sumabog si Allen Iverson that game. And syempre, Game 1 yun. Marami ang experts na nagsasabi na Game 1 is the most important game of the series. Kasi yun yung magsaset ng tone. And ang nangyari nga dun is, since nanalo yung Sixers nung time na yun, a lot of people are actually saying na, uy, baka kaya nila yung Lakers kasi tinalo nila sa home court nila. So, ay parang ang daming mga nagsabi na ay hindi invulnerable ang Lakers noong 2001.
Pero ayun nga, proven otherwise na masyado talaga malakas si Shaq and si Kobe. Pero ayun nga, if you look at that historic feat na ginawa ni AI na yun, na para siyang one-man wrecking crew against that Goliath of a match-up with Shaq and Kobe. Sobrang laking bagay nun for a lot of NBA players moving forward because after that time, siguro 5 or 6 years later, nagsulputan yung mga players na at the same or around the same height ni AI that had the same skill set and even better with Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving nga in particular, or even yung mga lesser guards natin ngayon sa NBA na yung crossover style nila, yung style of play nila was very much derived from the style of AI's game.
Yeah, and we rarely see street ball kasi to be effective sa, well, at least yung time na yun. And si AI talaga yung bumago sa NBA. Kasi I'm pretty sure Kyrie Irving, yung style of play niya, nakuha niya kay AI yun. Imposibleng hindi. Kasi siya lang naman yung pwede mong ipag-patternan ng game to be like that eh. So ayun, and ang maaalala pa natin nung game 1 nung finals na yun was yung famous step over niya over Tyronn Lue na hanggang ngayon nagagamit pa rin sa mga memes.
Every time na matatalo si Tyronn Lue, sobrang lupit nun.
So tingnan natin kung matatalo ba ang Clippers kasi pag natalo ang Clippers, makakita tayo ng ganyan. So ayun, and another pa pala is, let me add lang, the same year is nakalaban niya yung peak Vince Carter, which is one of the most pinaka-classic talaga na playoff series nun. Kung na-shoot lang ni Vince Carter yung tres to win the game, baka sila yung nag-finals and perhaps sila Vince Carter yung nag-champion nung year na yun.
And malaking bagay sana yun for Toronto and for Vince Carter's career din. Pero yun nga, marami ding controversies yung nangyari na yun kay Vince Carter, which we talk about in a way previous episode, if you remember. Tapos, ayun, AI, aside from that, AI actually had a huge influence din with the style of the NBA ngayon off the court. If you remember back then, walang dress code ang NBA, pero because of Allen Iverson, nag-implement sila ng dress code na they have to wear suit and tie into the games na nag-tone down naman na in recent years. Pero yun nga, nagkaroon ng formality and yung fashion sense sa NBA sobrang nagbago because of AI. Na-introduce yung hip-hop style with dressing up, yung pagsusuot ng mga arm sleeve, leg sleeves, armbands na hindi naman talaga madalas gawin nun sa NBA.
So, ayun nga, yung influence ni AI is beyond what's in the basketball court talaga. Pati yung angas niya, yung the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he plays the game, iba talaga eh. I mean, masasabi mo na siya lang eh, na sobrang unique talaga.
Kaya deserve niya yung nickname na pound for pound great. Kung meron tayong Manny Pacquiao, siya yung Manny Pacquiao ng NBA. Na kahit parang kahit 6-footer lang siya, kaya niya makipag-match up kahit kanino eh. And he may not be the greatest of all time, pero he made the most influence.
Okay, so moving on sa next na naging team ni Allen Iverson was the Denver Nuggets na I think it was a trade ba na nagpalipat sa kanya doon sa Ayun. So I think yung AI Melo tandem, yan yung unang dalawang scorer na nagsama sa isang team. And ayun nga, and a lot of people were saying back then na hindi sila sure kung magiging effective yung ganong lineup. Kasi imagine having two ball dominant scorers in your team. Who's gonna take the last shot? Paano natin paikutin yung bola? And sadly, ganun nga yung nangyari sa sa Denver Nuggets.
Ayun, AI had to adjust his game to be back to the point guard position. When back in Philadelphia, he was playing shooting guard na mas sanay siya na talaga siya yung nagdadala ng bola. And at that time, it was a young Carmelo Anthony that needed the ball as much as he can para ma-develop yung laro niya. And they both average naman ng 20-25 points per game, pero it didn't translate to wins talaga eh.
And actually, that time na lumipat si AI sa Denver Nuggets, prior to that season, he was actually averaging 31 points per game. Though he was injured, only played 15 games nung 2006-2007 season. Pero from 31 points per game, bumaba yun to 25 points or to be exact, 24.8 points per game. Malaking drop-off yun for a scorer like AI.
So, sayang sana kung nag-work. And doon na nga rin nagsimula yung decline ng career ni AI after a couple of years of staying in Denver. Na-trade siya sa Memphis, na-trade siya sa Detroit, and eventually it led back to him going back to the Philadelphia 76ers in 2010 where he ended his career na.
Actually, naglaro pa to sa Europe for a short stint. Kalimutan ko lang yung pangalan ng team, pero he actually played in Europe for like one season. Then, before retiring, in-invite siya ng Texas Legends, yung G League affiliate team ng Dallas Mavericks. So, in-invite siya ng Texas Legends to play a season with them sa D-League noong time na yun. Pero, syempre, I think with the magnitude of a player ni AI, I think, dinecline niya and I think tama lang. Kasi, parang, imagine Kobe playing in the D-League. Diba?
Sobrang degrading naman for a Hall of Famer na ganun kagaling. And even though yun nga yung kinahinatnat ng career ni AI, he was still considered one of the all-time greats nung time niya. And he still is today. And makita naman natin yung off the court ngayon, yung how much the culture has changed because of Allen Iverson. That still speaks about his impact on the game.
Yun nga lang, yung impact na yun is nagkakaroon nga ng negative side dahil nga sa famous na linya na
we're talking
about sa practice. Yeah, we're talking about practice. So, ayun sayang kasi what could have been of Allen Iverson kung let's say he had the same mentality as LeBron or Kobe or Jordan. Kasi the talent is there And I'll actually say na perhaps talent-wise, mas talented siya kay Kobe tsaka kay Jordan Kasi you
can
yung
teach talent
niya,
sobrang natural sa kanya yung scoring abilities niya. Na Kobe and MJ had to work for those, but it seems like AI never had to work for those. He always had it in him.
So, ayun imagine na lang sana kung his mind was dedicated talaga 100% to basketball. Sayang kasi perhaps we could have been talking about Allen Iverson being the GOAT. Pero that's yun nga yung nagse-separate sa mga kino-consider natin as GOAT players sa mga good players. Kasi meron sila nung ganung type of mentality na makikita mo kay Jordan, na nakikita mo kay Kobe, na nakikita mo kay Larry Bird, LeBron. Meron silang ganung it factor na hindi basta-basta nakukuha ng kahit sino lang na player.
So yun, I think AI would have been a multiple-time MVP, probably a multiple-time champion if he had the same work ethic and dedication to the game as those all-time greats, as those champions. Pero yun nga, things don't happen talaga for a reason. And maybe kung nag-champion si AI, merong mga may mga bagay na makakasira din sa career niya and we never know for sure what would have happened talaga. So maybe this is talaga what AI is meant to be a culture setter in the NBA. He may not have been the champion in the NBA as a recognized champion, pero he was the people's champ of the NBA.
Yeah, kasi imagine if bata ka nung time na nakita mo si AI. Tapos nakikita mo someone na ganyan kaliit kaya pala mag-succeed sa NBA. Di kaya ko din. Parang I think there was a generation of point guards na naka-witness doon. And dahil doon na-inspire sila to be like Allen Iverson. Ay makikita natin sa quality ng mga guards in the 2010s, 'di ba? Parang yun yung peak ng ng point guard position where you have like players like
Russell
Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, yung mga ganun types of player, Derrick Rose na if you can actually notice, medyo similar yung laro ni Derrick Rose kay prime Derrick Rose dun kay AI.
And hindi uso yung scoring point guard nung time ni AI. He was actually the progenitor of that position. I think yung mga usual na scoring guards actually nun was Isaiah Thomas and Kevin Johnson. Pero itong mga players na to are actually still pure point guards May playmaking pa rin itong mga to. AI was the first na talagang scoring first, then assist second.
So, ayun, makikita natin yung impact niya sa basketball na it's beyond the NBA. Parang I think it inspired a whole generation of basketball players talaga.
And even, ayun, for example na lang dito sa atin, sa local hopes natin, with Terence Romeo. Na, ayun, similar style of play din.
Tapos, actually, magandang i-pattern ng mga Filipino yung laro nila kay Allen Iverson. Kasi, kung napapansin mo, it's typical street ball. Kung may nakakalaro kayo sa sa mga basketball court dyan sa mga barangay nyo, I'm pretty sure 100% meron diyang sobrang galing mag-dribble. And I can only
tsak meron kayong sarili nyong Kyrie or sarili nyong AI sa barangay nyo.
So, meron pa yung naging trending sa social media nun, si Kalye Irving. Na parang may nag-post ng video niya na sobrang ganda ng mga crossovers niya. And as a Filipino, it's one way of utilizing kung ano yung meron tayo na perhaps we're not the tallest, we're not the biggest, pero we can be creative, we can be small, but can still produce.
Ayun, so sana yung style, yung ganong klase na player ni AI, ma-inspire pa tayong lahat to be a player like him in the future. Na although syempre we take the good out of the bad, syempre. Na we take what we think was good from AI. Na yun nga, yung he made the most out of who he is. Na maybe he was undersized. Yes, he was undersized, pero he still played to his best. He still did his best. He still revolutionized his style of play. Na nagawa niya yung mga kailangan niyang gawin without conforming to what is recognized to be a good move or the right move.
And I think another legacy of Allen Iverson is hindi mahalaga ang height to be successful in the NBA.
You just have to be skillful enough and you have to be innovative enough to be a player in the NBA. And yan, nagbunga nga yan ng mga players like Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, and those players actually inspired the players of today in Luka Doncic and Trae Young.
Ayan, so before we end this episode, bro, ano ba yung pinakamaganda mong memory about Allen Iverson?
Ako personally, yung pinakamalupit kong memory kay AI is yung yung duel nila lagi ni Kobe, yung mga games na naglaban sila, because those were always intense match-up na talagang nagbabantayan sila. Doon ka makita ng mga bihira mo na makitang ganun na both ends of the floor yung star players nagte-take over na I'm gonna score on you, you're gonna score on me. Ganun yung style nilang dalawa. Usually kasi ngayon, the best player scores pero not the best player defends the other best player.
So, actually ako, it was yung time na lumipat siya sa Denver. Kasi naka-braids din si Carmelo nun eh. Tapos pareha sila ng hairstyle. So nakatawa kasi akala ko magkapatid sila dati. Parang mukha silang kambal.
Lalo na kung bata ka pa, talagang ganun yung isip mo eh.
Ayun. So, akala ko parang may magkapatid sa Denver Nuggets. Ayun. And nakatuwa kasi another thing na nagustuhan ko talaga kay Allen Iverson is sobrang flashy niya maglaro. Na hindi talaga nagmamatter yung height eh. Parang meron siyang way para maka-score siya against you.
That said, this has been another episode of Legacy na, ayun, where we cover all the legends that we can about their history, what could have been, and let's just appreciate their contributions to the game. So again, this is Palm Ups Podcast. My name is Jella. This is my partner, Jem. See you in the next episode.